When it comes to our children's health and wellness, most of us have a pretty good grasp about what we should or shouldn't be feeding our kids, or at least we think we do. You see, the day-to-day environment is filled with toxins, and the internet filled with conflicting information and fad diets, that making good decisions about our kids' health is not as simple as it seems. So today, we're going to take a deep dive into the 3 myths about kids' nutrition. When I talk to parents about their kids' diets, the first thing they proudly tell me is that they make sure their children drink milk every day. They know it's good for their bones and their growth, and they say it's a great source of calcium. Except it isn't. You see, mammals, including humans, tend to lose their ability to digest milk after infancy. Over 65% of the world's population cannot digest milk. And in America, the National Institutes of Health estimate between 30 and 50 million Americans are lactose intolerant. And that includes over 80% African Americans and Latinos and 90% Asians. The other problem with milk is that it's pasteurized. Pasteurization is raising the temperature to 161 degrees, and that kills all the bad bacteria, which sounds like a good idea, except that it also destroys the enzymes that are required for us to absorb the nutrients from milk. A mother's milk provides nutrients for her baby to grow and develop. Pasteurized cow's milk is like a processed food, and it's been linked to colic, tooth decay, growth problems, allergies, and asthma. And the long-term consumption of pasteurized dairy has been shown to lead to obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and even osteoporosis. If you were like me as a kid, I drank 3 glasses of milk a day. But knowing that so many people can't digest milk and that pasteurized dairy causes many chronic illnesses, why would we want to feed this to our children? Let's find better sources of calcium, such as green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, and legumes, sardines, and even seaweed. So that leads us to myth number 2. The USDA knows what's best for my child. Some parents have been hesitant to veer away from the institutional advice from agencies like the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which has been propping up the dairy industry for decades. So let's talk a little about how institutional nutrition works. And we'll start with medical schools. See, the average medical doctor gets less than 24 hours of nutrition instruction in their coursework, and less than 20% of medical schools actually require a nutrition class as part of their curriculum. In Western medicine, the focus is on diagnosing symptoms, prescribing medication, and sometimes doing surgery. But in functional diagnostic nutrition, we focus on systems, not symptoms. We provide nutrition to heal the body, and so the symptoms disappear. Now, I strongly advise parents to seek the opinions of their doctors regarding diet and nutrition, but I also ask them to acknowledge the potential limitations of what that advice might have. The USDA has been recommending dairy as part of our nutrition, our daily nutrition. Over 10%, which is significant because that amounts to about a serving at every meal. But we've just talked about how pasteurized dairy leads to many chronic illnesses. The USDA also has been trying to determine what kind of foods Americans should eat to be healthy. And so they've come up with eating plans, such as determining what kinds of foods we should eat and how much we should eat every day. And that's been revised to what kinds of foods we should eat in what proportions per serving. But over the past 20 years, the rates of obesity and diabetes type 2 have risen over 50%. So if the USDA's recommendations are providing for healthy Americans, and we're following those recommendations, why are Americans getting sicker and sicker every year? So if the agencies are leaving our children malnourished, where are we supposed to pick up the slack? So that leads us to a third and final myth. that pills or gummies will make up for what's lacking in our kids' nutrition. Multivitamins seem like a great solution, but what are multivitamins made of? Many vitamins are synthetic. Take, for example, vitamin C. It's made from cornstarch and it's changed in the lab to become ascorbic acid. Or vitamin B1, which starts as coal tar or petroleum and is modified to become a thiamine mononitrate. So how is it that something that's not a food or something that we wouldn't normally eat becomes a nutrient? It doesn't. It's synthetic. And synthetic was never meant for a human body to consume. Let's talk about vitamin C. Vitamin C is a complex. Vitamin C includes ascorbic acid, but it also includes rutin and tyrosinase and other factors that make it a nutrient to our bodies. Let's also talk about vitamin B12. We see it on vitamin bottles as cyanocobalamin. Now, cobalamin is the B12 portion. That's the portion our body needs. And the cyano part is actually cyanide. Many believe that the cyanide portion of that is harmless, but I'm not willing to put any little bit of cyanide in my child's body. The bottom line is that synthetic vitamins don't build health. While their chemical components are identical, their functional components do not build human health. When you're looking for a multivitamin, if you do, look for something that contains whole foods, because that will contain the vitamin complexes your body needs. That's all for now, but I'll be back soon to provide more practical tips to building a healthier life for you and your family. In the meantime, you can find other helpful articles, videos, or resources at my website, optimalenergynow.com. If you have any specific questions or want to start the conversation about getting your family to true health, I'd love to help you. Reach out to me on my website and I'll get back to you right away. Mahalo.